Hey, Democrats, Joshua Harris still here once again. Our illustrious chair is still out of the state doing some amazing work to get us all of the awesome resources that we need. And so you got to hear from Robbie today, and you get to hang out with me again this afternoon. I'm super excited about today's show just because I think it's important that we continue to do this engagement. It's important that we're letting people know what's going on in the state, how they can get involved, how they can make a difference. Yes, we might feel disheartened sometimes, but it's extremely important that we not forget what we're fighting for. And I think that's something that I think about every day. That's something that I try to figure out new ways to innovate. There's people who reach out to me. Just last night on Twitter, somebody was like, "Hey, I really want to do something. I'm not exactly sure what to do or how to do it. But if you're willing to do this, then like send me a private message or respond to this tweet." And I responded to that tweet with a simple message: I'm here as a resource. That's what I feel like one of my roles to play is. I'm here as a resource. I'm here to talk you through whatever you're doing, to make sure that you understand the options you have, the resources you have, the way you can advocate. And one of the reasons that I feel so comfortable doing this is because I got to work at the Capitol for a time during the teachers walkout. We talked about that a little bit on the last episode. You got to hear from one of my really good friends and my brother, Representative Jason Lowe. The other brother of mine, brother from another mother, if you will, is here with us today. And I want to welcome him to the show because I really look up to this man. I respect him. He's taught me a lot. He's been there through it all. He's allowed me to call him in the middle of the night with my questions. And so I'm extremely excited to welcome Representative Mickey Dollens to the show today.
Hey, Josh, thank you so much, man. The feeling is mutual. As we were just talking, I'm about to go do a football scrimmage out here at Scissortail Park. Finally, the sun is out, so we got to be outside a little bit. I've got Bucky here, my wingman.
Oh, well, see, that's just awesome. You could have told me that Bucky was going to be here. Now it's a real show.
Yeah. So he's excited to get out and enjoy the sunshine. But I'm really glad to be on here with you today, and I appreciate all that you're doing to inform people and keep them up to date. We shared some special times back at the Capitol during the teacher walkout. You really made that experience more tolerable for all the teachers that were frustrated and tired and weary, and you opened up our office and you provided a place to just sit and relax.
Is that my seatmate? Is that my seatmate?
Hey, what's up,
brother? What's up, brother? What's up?
What's up? Good to see you. We've got a special bond over the past 7 years at the Capitol, whether it's helping constituents, accommodating teachers in their fight for better respect and better pay, which is still now as big of issue as ever. We've certainly got our work cut out for you, but I'm happy to have you in my corner as we forge forward.
Definitely. Me and Jason were talking, education, which is something I know you can talk about for days. Obviously, a teacher at which school was that again? Just so you can give a quick shout out. I don't want you to get in trouble.
No, big time. I still live down the street from U.S. Grant High School, so I taught at Grant. I taught freshman English, college preparatory classes, a leadership class for upperclassmen. And back in 2016, I was one of many teachers that were let go due to lack of funding. And that's why I ran for office. And it got a little bit better. Unfortunately, we've got a state superintendent that is undermining public education every chance he gets. And as a father of 2 young children who will soon be in public schools, are not quite of age yet, but they will be. It is more important than ever that we get the state back on track when it comes to education so that our young people can have every opportunity they need to reach their full potential. And then also being a former teacher and serving with many teachers in the state legislature, I feel like we're going to put up a good fight. Even my Republican colleagues like Representative Rhonda Baker, Representative Mark McBride, yesterday during State Superintendent Walter's budget presentation, they asked some hard-hitting questions, which gives me hope going forward that one man's agenda, or two men actually, Stitt and Walters, can't hijack the entire public education system in order to make a profit for them and third party companies that want to privatize our public sector core services such as education. So while we are about 1 week out from session, I know we're going to have our work cut out for us. In addition to some education issues, you're going to see a lot of tax cuts being proposed. And one of the issues with term limits is, I'd say more than half of the legislature wasn't even around in 2016 and 17 and 18 when we had to make those incredibly tough decisions of raising revenue to get our core services back on track. There's a lot of turnover every year. And so you've got a whole bunch of fresh new legislators in there who don't understand that trickle-down economics doesn't work. It's going to lead to more revenue failures. But unfortunately, with the term limits, which has some pros, it has some cons, but one of the deals is they can go ahead and pass these massive tax cuts and say, whenever it all hits the fan, I won't be in the legislature. That'll be the next representative's problem. And that's a huge issue for the future of our state.
I had this plan and this agenda to go in these different directions. You've been hitting all of the things, and that's one of the things that I really respect about you is, yes, you are a former teacher who ran for office, but your focus is not only education. You realize there's so many different issues that are extremely important. I've been watching the work you've been doing around housing. I've been watching the work you've been doing around athletics. This session, obviously, you got a number of different bills filed. Any of those that you want to highlight for us right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going forward, one of the number one ways that Oklahomans implement real meaningful change in the state is via the ballot initiative. If you look at medical marijuana, criminal justice reform, Medicaid expansion, which now, because of Medicaid expansion, over 250,000 Oklahomans now have health care. That whole process of the ballot initiative, of people taking direct democracy into their own hands and implementing change when their elected officials won't, is being threatened. For example, a senator wants to raise that threshold from which a state question could pass from a simple majority, which is 50% plus one. That's how we're elected. That's how that's how it's always been. Wants to raise it to an astounding 66%. If that were the rule in years past, we wouldn't have Medicaid expansion, wouldn't have criminal justice reform, no medical marijuana, but we would still have cockfighting, because the people of Oklahoma voted to ban cockfighting by only 56%, which isn't that 66% threshold. So that is really, it's not just exclusive to Oklahoma too. In all GOP controlled states, they're trying to either raise the amount of signatures needed to get a question on the ballot, or they're trying to get the threshold for the overall count to pass.
And they've made that process harder already, because seeing Representative Lowe make his cameo, we ran that petition to veto permitless carry. And we were able to really, I think, put together almost 50,000 signatures in 3 weeks. The new process that they've created has halted the ability to get as many signatures in a short period of time. It's twice as much paper. The instructions are extremely convoluted. The way the forms look is intimidating. They have ridiculous measures around capitalization. It's a completely different system. So that's been under attack for a while. And it's crazy to see that wasn't enough and they're still going after it.
Oh, yeah, that's the game plan, to just keep chipping away until eventually they take all the power away. But you bring up a really great point, in that the rules, Oklahoma is already one of the most stringent states in the country for guidelines around getting a question on the ballot. Like you said, you were able to do a phenomenal feat, which is get 50,000 signatures in 3 weeks. If it's a constitutional change, it's 15% of the last gubernatorial election. So if, for example, there was a grassroots initiative to try to get reproductive freedoms restored, and they make it a constitutional amendment based off the last gubernatorial election, they'd need about 173,000 signatures. But here's the kicker: in 90 days, And as you mentioned, capitalization, to clarify, if someone's signing their name in support, but they don't put every single letter of their name in capitalized letters, then the whole signature doesn't count. So little things like that make it extremely strenuous. And that's why having grassroots organizers who understand the signature gathering process is so important. But even with all of those strict guidelines, we're still one of only 26 states that has the power of direct democracy via the ballot initiative. And it's extremely important that we protect that process going forward. And real quick, Joshua, and you mentioned what are some of the bills that I have that relate to ballot initiatives. So real quick, in Oklahoma, there are two ways you can get a state question on the ballot. One is, as we were just talking about, the signature gathering process. And number two is through the legislature. And this is by far the most streamlined, efficient way to do it, because you don't even need the governor's signature, and you don't have to, you don't have to go spend millions of dollars and helping people like train and go out and collect signatures. It would go, if it passes the House and Senate, then it's going straight to the ballot. And I've got 3 House joint resolutions that would do that. One would be restoring reproductive rights, which I gave that bill to Leader Munson. I just felt that was more appropriate. 2 would be creating an independent redistricting committee, and effectively ending gerrymandering. And number 3 would be raising the minimum wage, which hasn't been touched in Oklahoma for over 15 years. And I just did a news story the other day about why there are so many payday lenders in Oklahoma. In House District 93, by the way, which I represent in Southwest Oklahoma City, in my district alone, we have more payday lending stores than any other place, any other district in the state. And a big reason for that is it's predatory. They know that a lot of people in my district, a lot of my neighbors, are working minimum wage jobs, barely getting by. And because it's still $7.25 an hour, many people are relying on payday loans just to make ends meet. Unfortunately, they have predatory practices built in and sky high interest rates, over 200%, that just continue getting people further and further in debt. And so that's been a big priority of mine in years past. Unfortunately, the payday lending lobby is very, very strong. And every time I put forth a bill to curb those interest rates, unfortunately, it gets smashed. And dead on arrival, as they'd call it, doesn't even get a chance to be heard in committee. But that's the political landscape we're in, where the GOP control the House, the Senate, and the governor's seat. And until we get more balance back in our legislature, good bills like that can continue being stalled.
Well, I got 2 more questions for you before we go. One, is Mickey Dollens running for governor?
No, my focus is on District 93, South Oklahoma City. It's where I live. It's where my roots are. It's where I worked before I was in the legislature. So we've made good strides in Southwest Oklahoma City, but we still have a lot of work to do. And I'm fortunate to serve with other great legislators who neighbor me, like Representative Forrest Bennett in District 92, Representative Arturo Alonso in District 89. So we've got a good group of Southside Coalition, Southside legislators right now, and we need to maximize what we do every day to continue building on what we've already created and the good that we've done for our neighbors so far.
So that's awesome. Look, we're on the party's page, on the party's platform. I had to ask, or they would yell at me. The other question I have, which is one I think that you bring a very perfect perspective to, and one of the best people to access, is how can folks who feel a little disheartened by the elections results, who feel like their voices don't necessarily matter or don't count, who just feel kind of a little sense of hopelessness, or maybe even thinking about moving outside of the state? I hear from people like this. You hear from people like this. What is the message on the Democratic Party platform going out to all the Democrats across the state? What is that message you want to give to them on why they should keep hope, why they shouldn't give up?
Well, first, I hear you and I empathize with you, and I could understand a sentiment to leave. And for many of us, what keeps us here is our friends and our family. And personally, I'm a 5th generation Oklahoman. So just by nature, I have a lot of family in Oklahoma. My family, my children live here. So I'm not moving. I'm staying right here. And I think a lot of people share this the same sentiment that I feel that we have an obligation to try to make this state better and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to reach their full potential. And the way that we do that is by building coalitions and organizing and coming together, just exactly like what you're doing here, Josh, that we can give people an outlet to put their energies into something that could be for the bigger picture, for the overall good. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunities to do that, whether you get plugged in with the state party or there's a particular ballot initiative that you are passionate about that you want to get involved with. There's so many avenues to do that now, thanks to platforms such as what we're doing right here and social media. So for people who want to make a difference in Oklahoma, and there's so many, just get plugged in and then have that community around you, because it can be disheartening at times. But when you have other people that are fighting for a common cause and you start to see that incremental change, which in life and in government, that's what it's all about, those small steps toward getting something bigger and better for everyone. Celebrate the small wins, celebrate the community, embrace the process. And I promise you, if you continue doing that, it will start to get better.
We love to hear it. That's it. Celebrate the win, celebrate the community, do the work. Absolutely amazing. We know you got some football to get to. Scissortail, if you want to see him playing football, bringing out those SMU skills. We're super excited about it. Also, Bucky is there, so we're super excited that Bucky will be in attendance. One of the goodest boys. Also, that you were in a pro darts tournament last night. How did that go? Did you win?
So I am not bad at darts, but compared to pros, I get smoked. So I have a lot of work to do, but I'm telling you, it was a lot of fun. I bought some really nice darts, so hopefully that improves my game next time. But anytime anyone wants to go throw down at the flea, I think I can hold my own. But these people that come in from all over the state in these tournaments, it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's very humbling.
Angela, who's behind the scenes running this for us, wants to know, steel tip or plastic?
Oh, they're plastic. Yeah. So it's a special board. It's all digital. I can throw steel, like at the flea, they have both, but in competition, it's plastic. It's all digital.
She says, okay, fine. Thank you, obviously, for everything, for the work and the service you give to the community, for your friendship over all these years, for how awesome you look in your representative pictures. I remember when you were the only person to use Photoshop on your photos. You got that?
Do that. That's the professionalism of the house photography staff. They're really good at what they do. And Jason can attest to that.
Right. Thank you again. As always, the Democratic Party, on behalf of the entire Democratic Party, we're extremely thankful for you. We're always in your corner. We're here to help you and support you. So until next time, my friend.
Likewise. Thank you for having me on. I look forward to the next time.
Thank you. Well, Democrats, that is the show. Maybe ran a little long today, but that's okay, because when you're hanging out with folks as awesome as Representative Dollens, with our guest appearance from Representative Lowe, I'm in his office right now, and then you even got to see Bucky. What more could you ask for? Again, all of you should message Alicia and tell her happy birthday if you did not do it yesterday. We're extremely proud of her, and we're extremely honored to have her as our party chair. I would sing right now, but she's not watching the show. If she was watching the show, I would sing right now. But if you want to hear me sing, hit me up at any karaoke anytime. Thanks again, Democrats. Until tomorrow, when Robbie will be back giving you a phenomenal show. Have a good one.